Hello friends, this is a talk which I've entitled Why Going to God is Better Than Going to the Dentist. The other day I was watching Britain's Got Talent, and it featured a strong man who towards the end of his act was dangling upside down from his feet, and suspended from his mouth was a really heavy bar which was alight at both ends. And all I could think was, I wonder what his dentist thinks about that. Now, let's be honest, most of us doesn't really like going to the dentist. But if we have a bad toothache, then we can't get there fast enough. And for some people, going to God seems like going to the dentist. You go there when you're desperate. Even people who go to church and know him, we don't necessarily get close to him except when we really feel like we have to. A dentist is a very powerful person. When you're in that chair, your mouth wide open, gazing up at those lights, you are at his mercy. You hope fervently that he was paying attention to all those lectures at dental school. But we don't need to worry about God being like that. He knows everything. He has all knowledge, all wisdom, and he knows what is best for our lives. Another thing about dentists, you can't deceive them. A dentist might ask, what's your dental hygiene routine? Do you brush every day? Do you floss regularly? And we might be tempted to say, oh yes, I do. But if you don't, as soon as you're in that chair with your mouth open, the dentist will know. And it's the same with God. We can't pretend to him. He knows all about us, so we might as well be honest. Now, some of us would quite like it if we could just go to the dentist to have our smile kept sparkly, but it doesn't work like that. The dentist does insist on poking around over all those nasty back teeth and finding cavities when we'd much rather he didn't. And God sometimes does that too. If we come to God, we have to let him get a look in and work on areas that perhaps are difficult for us, because it is for our good. And if we want to have good dental health, we do have to follow the dentist's advice. Brush, preferably twice a day. Clean between your teeth. Stop eating sugary foods or having lots of sugary drinks. Stop smoking. And I expect you can think of the parallels for yourself about the kind of thing that you might say. We need to follow God's instructions. He's given us instructions. We need to see him often. In fact, preferably more often than we see a dentist, because at the most that's normally only every 6 months. We need to check in with him very, very often indeed. Just a final point, which is to say it really is better going to God than going to a dentist, because it can be very hard to get to a dentist when you specially need to. First of all, if you're not registered with one, you can't normally get an appointment. Getting an appointment, you have to get through on the phone, and you're sure to need to get through at a weekend or on a bank holiday when they're not open. We don't have that same kind of problem with God. We can always get through to him. Another thing, of course, is that, except for very few people, you have to pay for treatment, even on the NHS. And if you're not on the NHS, you have to pay a lot of money for treatment. And it's not like that with God. Money doesn't come into it. Any payment has been paid by Jesus already. You just go to him. But beware, when you go to God, you might find that he's got more planned for you in your treatment than you first thought of. Thank you for listening.